and welcome to So You Think You're Awake, the show about life transformation through dream interpretation. I'm Michael Sheridan. To get your dream analysed on my show, go to dream-analysis.com, fill in the form there with your dream and submit it to me. That's all you have to do. Then sit back and listen to the show. Also, and I say this frequently, go to my site, dream-analysis.com, and download my dictionary. Not only will you get the dictionary that will give you thousands of very accurate symbols that will help you analyze your own dreams without even sending them to the show, you also get put on my list, and I will send you all sorts of tips and fascinating things about dreams and help on how you can interpret your own dreams. Okay, that's it. Let's do some of your dreams. And I'm going to start with one called Brainy Owl. Isn't it funny? Owls are often considered to be wise. It's because of a connection with a Greek god, I'm pretty sure, that could take the form of an owl. I'm not quite sure of the details, but anyway, most of the time in dreams, that's not what they're there for. We also know about owls is their eyes are very huge. In fact, their eyes are so big that their brains are smaller than a lot of other birds. So they're not that wise at all. And because of the eyes, it represents a clairvoyant ability, the ability to see images or movies and get information from your guides through that mechanism. Anyway, we know that straight away from just the title of the dream, that Dominique is a clairvoyant. But let's have a look at her dream. And she says, actually, comments at the start, she says, I am deciding about whether or not to be a counselor. I'm also learning more about shamanism and had a discussion about power animals this week. I'm unsure if the owl is about counseling or maybe is my power animal. Thank you, Michael. Well, let's have a look at the dream because it'll give us the answer. I was biking alone in the desert. I was trying to find this storage locker in the middle of nowhere. So, okay, alone in the desert, and desert is even like deserted is about being alone. Bikes, though, are about the heart. When you say biking, are you cycling? I should have asked that via email. Are you cycling or are you on a motorbike? Dominique's age 30, so it could be either one. You're trying to find a storage locker. So, okay, that's a good thing in a dream, especially if you're trying to unlock the locker. Lockers are always about things that you keep hidden or usually emotional stuff. So you keeping your heart locked up, that kind of thing. In the middle of nowhere, you say. I needed to get something important out. I was looking at a map on my phone and confirmed I was going the right direction. So that's really good. And maps are great in dreams because maps are about telling you where you are. You know, we look at a map, we figure out where we are, then we can plot how we get from where we are to where we need to be. But you're able to tell that you're going in the right direction. So it also means that you've got this kind of thing built in. You're able to tell yourself if you're going in the right direction. So you're asking, are you meant to be a counselor? The very fact that you're asking is interesting. What do you really think yourself? Do write and let me know. You say, on the way, I passed a large artistic Burning Man type of gathering. One sculpture caught my eye in particular. It was a 30 to 40 foot tall owl made of iron or wood. What made it unusual was that it had the texture of a brain with all those rivulets and grooves. Okay, so I had to look this up. I've heard of Burning Man. We all have. But I didn't really know what is the point of Burning Man. I've seen some videos and stuff, but what is the philosophy behind it? And what they say is Burning Man is a temporary metropolis dedicated to community, art, self-expression, and self-reliance. And that's according to the Burning Man website. So self-expression and art and so on, that's really good. And you say that you saw this one sculpture and it's huge. And sculptures and art in dreams are about ideals and goals that you need to pursue. And the 30-foot tall one is like, this is a big one. You can't miss it. You don't say whether it's on fire or anything, but you can't miss it. And owls, like I said before, represent clairvoyance. So you have the gift of clairvoyance. You asked, is it your power animal? Is the owl your power animal? Well, that may be. It may be. But it doesn't mean counseling for you. And what about the brain? You said it looked like a brain. So it's funny, on my courses, one of the first things I say when I'm talking about communication with spirits, is channeling requires both hemispheres of the brain. And that's why two shows up, and why men and women and marriages can also be about channeling, because it requires the male and female aspects of us working in harmony, male and female aspects of the brain. Basically, you need the male side to relax and get in sync with the female side, which is connected to the divine. So interesting you point out the brain in a dream that is inherently about channeling and clairvoyance in particular. So what's interesting though is you say, on the way I passed a large artistic. So wherever you're going in life, learning to channel is part of it. That's what this dream says. Now there's more on your path. So it's not your destination, but it's a necessary part of your journey. You need to learn to channel. And you sent a second dream called Passing the Flame. And I love some of the images in this. You asked the same question in this, of course, obviously, in case I just picked one dream. But you ask, right, should I become a counselor? That's the question. We still haven't answered it. And you also say, I am also just beginning to learn how to channel. Well, guess what? Your other dream showed it. So that's cool. So you say, I was taking a meditation class. It might have been called a candle class. We all made a circle, and one by one we passed the flame to the person next to us by lighting their candle. It was stunning. Before the flame got to me, I realized my wick was too short to be lit and worried my candle wouldn't light. But then the woman to my right created this small metal contraption that lowered the candle so mine could be lit. It was a feeling of complete support from the group. No one would be left out or excluded. I didn't know her, but I felt lots of love. So I really like that, the lots of love. That's about your female side. You also emphasize that it's a class, and you mention the groups. So another gift you have is spiritual teaching, definitely on the cards for you. It's very like counseling in ways, except you don't tend to go into the very nitty-gritty detail of helping somebody one-on-one to completely deal with their details, with their issues and heal their issues. It's more directional. Anyway, that's what you're meant to be doing. Working with people, channeling, and using your intuition, because that's what the candles represent. You have a strong intuition, so you get knowings about people. So you not only are you clairvoyant, you get downloads, is how most people will describe them. A download or a feeling that just comes with a lot of information, like I know this about this person, or I know that about that person. And so you've got that, and you're going to use it in your spiritual teaching capacity. Spiritual teaching also works through female energy, both. Anyway, you say, I was then taking a cycling class with a very athletic friend of mine. Afterwards, we went to another type of class. So cycling is about the heart, female side again. This time it was academic. And we know you're academic because you had the brainy owl. We know you're smart. I wanted to sit next to her and thought she would have saved me a seat, but other people had put their things down next to her. I soon realized we were sitting for a counseling licensing exam. Okay, so I'm going to stop right there. There's a bit more, a bit more. But it's like a seat wasn't saved for you to learn counseling or do the exam. That's telling. If you were meant to do counseling, there would be a seat. It would be like the doors are open for you and this is something you need to do. So first thing we see in the dream is a seat is not saved for you. To answer your question. So I also noticed my counselor was taking it as well. Hadn't she already got her license? It concerned me a bit to think she might be helping me without a license. I felt very unprepared for the exam, considering I hadn't even applied to the school yet. So that's kind of funny, doing the exam before you even apply. And being unprepared. The unprepared, that's okay, we can live with. Quite often in dreams, we feel unprepared for exams. But you're questioning the qualification of your own counselor in the dream. So basically, you're questioning the qualification. That's also not a good sign. So two things. A seat isn't saved for you. Somebody else's seat, it's somebody else's position. And then you're questioning the validity of someone else's license. And you're everybody in the dream. So it's whether you should be doing it or not. Now you are questioning it, but the dream is answering it. It's saying no. But I might come back to that again. After the exam, I met a man who was complaining about a woman's YouTube channel. So this is how dreams really work. We know you're a channel because we saw it with the owl about clairvoyance. And we also know that you get information through feelings because of the candles in the other part of the dream. Her show, so here we have YouTube channel, so it's a pun on channel. Her show had to do with home repairs and using tools. So are you specifically interested in healing the body in some way? Do let me know. His critique was that this woman was not making it accessible enough for people to follow along with her, not identifying which tools she was using. I asked him why he didn't start his own channel. So it's like, why don't you start channeling? That's really what the dream is asking you to do. Like, if some people aren't doing it well, you can do it better. I then stumbled on a giant life-size game of Sorry that was being played. People stood next to these colourful pieces on the board. The rapper Nicki Minaj was there and feuding with a rival. Lady Gaga was also playing. So we have two musicians. And so, again, two more symbols for channeling. First, the two of them, the fact that there's two, that shows up for channels all the time. And then both Lady Gaga and Nicki Minaj being musicians are also about channeling. You then say near the game, why the game of sorry? Have you been subjected to somebody who puts you out, says they're sorry, but doesn't really mean they're sorry? That's something you need to look at because you have this giant life-size game of sorry. Anyway, I had to look that game up too and see what happens in the game. So basically what happens in the game, the crux of it is, one of the pieces of it is, you can move your player from home position to where anybody else is on the board when you draw a certain card or something. And you basically send them, you knock them out of the game, or you do something anyway where their player gets knocked off their position and you take their position and you say sorry for that. But you don't really mean it because you're doing it on purpose in the game. So that's why I said, have you been subjected to somebody who would put you out and then say they're sorry, but you know they're not really sorry, because that's something you need to work on. Near the game, I sat next to the NBA basketball player Steph Curry and his coach, Steve Kerr. Now with the coaching, you would think, maybe you are meant to be a counselor, but it's already on your mind. So this is why it's showing up in your dreams. Steve Kerr, I was observing the game and not playing. And so this is something that is characteristic of people who make fantastic counselors. And even in the beginning, in the other dream, you talk about biking in the desert and you're in the middle of nowhere. So you're on your own. People who make terrific counselors usually go through life feeling like they're on their own, that there's nobody around. Even in a crowd, they feel alone. And here you have that, I'm observing the game and not playing. So you don't play the game of life. You need to get into the game of life. Obviously, you said your own counselor was earlier in the dream, so we know you are attending counseling. So this is hopefully what's being worked on. You participating and embracing life, let's say, but embracing, Then they were passing, you say Stephen Curry and Steve Kerr, or Steph Curry and Stephen Kerr, were passing a basketball back and forth to each other. They were in complete sync. There was so much love and trust between them. I wanted that connection and I felt some envy, maybe even jealousy. Isn't that the same thing? Because Steve Kerr ignored me and only would look at Steph. So basketballs are about career and also the pursuit of goals in life, because it's a ball and you play a game with them. But the color black and orange is about career. Why? Black is about fear, orange is about ambition. So it's ambition driven through fear, which is always career. Always what it is about. And these two are passing it back and forward and they're not looking at you. They don't even care that you're there. And Steve Kerr, another way of putting his name is Stephen Kerr. So don't Stephen Kerr. It's kind of, dreams put kind of silly puns, pointing that one out there. So somebody in your life who is significant didn't give you the attention or care that you felt you needed. Doesn't matter if they gave everything they could, you didn't get what you felt you needed, and that's what counts, and that's what you need to work on. I don't know whether it's mom or dad, you most likely would, but because the issues, like you see issues like when you talk about envy, that's about the heart. We call envy the green-eyed monster. The heart chakra is green. It's kind of funny how some expressions have the right colors for chakras in them, like red with anger is another one. But anyway, you got ignored and you need to deal with that. And what you're looking for is love and trust, and you didn't get it. Love, and you didn't get it. And then later you say, last, a close friend of mine asked me if I'd been playing my guitar. She wanted me to teach her how to play. I hadn't, and I felt some shame. So at the end of the dream, you're being asked to teach. Doesn't matter that you're being asked to teach guitar. So remember, at the start of this dream, I said you're a spiritual leader or teacher. Same thing. So at the end of the dream, you're being asked to help people through your spiritual leadership skill. And the guitar is also about channeling. So you're going to channel when you help people through leadership. We know it's about channeling because you've had many other symbols for channeling, but music in the dream, even if you play guitar, is going to be about your channeling ability. So I hope the channeling is working really well for you. And it's kind of funny, I'll be honest, when you see the things about being alone, being ignored, not participating. So we know you need to work on your female side for sure. The trauma that caused you to retreat from life, you have to work on that. And that's most likely what you're doing in counseling. But it's unusual to see this and then be told you're not a counselor. And so I channeled on it because it just seemed so bizarre, and was told, yeah, you're not to counsel. It's more like it's a sideline thing for you. So you're going to be a teacher, spiritual teacher, and a channel, and other things as well, I suspect. But the coaching is really a sideline thing. It's not that you're ever going to say you're a coach, but you will incidentally coach people, probably through what you channel. And the reason I say that, and I'm going to ask you the question, you said Steve Curry and his coach are there. They're not on the court because you're beside this other game of sorry. They're not on a basketball court and they're just passing the ball back and forth. So are they on the sideline themselves while they're doing that? That's just a question. It won't matter. That's what they're saying. It's what it means. But it'll be interesting to see if they're just doing it and they're not on a basketball court. That's what makes it say it's something you will do very much on the side. You won't be ever putting anything up to say, hey, I'm a counselor or a coach. At least I don't think so. Not for now. Hope that helps. So now we've got one from Jeff, and he calls it career opportunities. Jeff is 46, and he says in his comments, I lost my job 2 months ago. Unemployment is not paying me yet. I've been asking what I should do. I was really impressed with this office. That's the one in the dream. State of the art and minimalistic. The other walls were a light green. And he says, okay, I got your book and I've been listening to your show. So this is what I got so far. And I love it when people tell me what they got. I'm late for channeling and healing career. And that's what I need to change into. He also says, I had a traumatic birth. I was born dead and my dad didn't want me. I need to heal this to move forward. Thanks for being a lighthouse in the storm, Captain. I really love that. Robin Williams' Dead Poets Society is one of my favorite movies of all time, and I loved the Captain reference. Right, so here's the dream. I was at a really nice office getting ready to go home for the weekend, but I had too much stuff to pack up in my bag. So straight away, we know it's about baggage and karma that you're carrying. So, well, all our baggage is karma, things that have affected us from the past that we still carry around with us. And you're trying to put all this in your bag. You don't say whether you worked in an office or not. Offices are typically about the mind and say that you're intellectual. But we don't know, because if you did work in an office, then it may not apply. You say, then the lights were off and I was the only one there with all this stuff laid out on my desk. Lights off are about when it comes to career, I don't know where I need to go. I don't know what I need to do. And that's fair enough in this climate. A lot of people don't. But here it's explicitly saying it. It could even imply there's a bit of depression around the career. I remember thinking, I'm late. It's going to take me forever to organize all this stuff and get out of there. I looked behind me and the wall was all glass and it was dark on both sides of the wall, and someone was quickly moving out of sight and it made me feel even later. So being late, references to time like that, being in pressure on you for time, is also about karma. Why? Because we come here to learn about ourselves, to do the things that we promised we would do with our guides before ever getting the position on the planet. We promised, hey, let me in. I'm going to do all these things. I'm going to work on myself. And after I work on myself, see all these 50 people here that I wronged in a former life, I'm going to help them. Or these other people, that I never wronged in any way, I'm also going to help them. And then we come here and we get caught in a career because we're thinking of the paycheck and the fact that we need to pay for insurance, health insurance, we need to put a roof over our heads, we need food, we need all these things, and then we tell ourselves, oh, I need a pension, I can't change, and all this. So we get worse and worse and worse at taking risks. And of course we didn't come here for a career, and it shows up in our dreams as us being late, because we know karmically when we sleep, we know where we should be, and we know we're behind. And that's what the late is about in the dream. That I promised I would do all these things before age 46, and I didn't do them. And I feel bad about that. Anyway, the walls say that you're psychic. You have this connection with your soul. So you get information, again, seemingly out of nowhere. We talked about channeling earlier. And the channeling is where you're talking to a spirit and you're saying, hey, I have this question for Jeff. Could you please tell me, Jeff's guides, could you please tell me what does he need to do in this situation? And a channel will get an answer from the guides or from another spirit or whatever. But a person who has your ability, they don't necessarily notice themselves getting an answer from a third party. They just know that they have the answer. And it seems kind of strange. And you have to learn how to tell when that's information passed to you, an answer passed to you, or something that you're making up. But you have to learn to trust it over time. Usually people do, because you like at age 46, you're like, yeah, I know how it happens. It's happened before and it's always been right. Or if I didn't listen to it, I got burned. So I've learned in time. Anyway, that's what you've got. That's one of your channeling mechanisms. But again, it's dark on both sides of the wall. So you're not too familiar with it. You don't know where to take this or where it's going to lead you. You also say the walls are green. Walls are about the heart. And the other walls are green, so it fits in with the heart. You need to work on that side. You say there was a server room around the corner in the office and I went into it. You say that you got healing out of this dream. You are a healer, but it's not from this symbol, but I know why you said it, because in my book I say waiter serving food or drink represents healing, but this isn't that type of server. This is about communication again, because of the server room being the network hub for something. When I was leaving the server room, this guy from my last job, not well liked. So what you would need to do is tell me why he's not liked. What are his traits? Because that is what you have been subjected to, probably by dad, in your life. And anyway, he put partitions in front of the door to block me in. So you got to work on stuff around dad, because that's where your blocks are. But you already know this. But the dream is telling you still need to do the work. So it's good that you know it. It matches up with what you know you need to work on. So no surprise. Of course, I'm feeling even later at this point. So that's really strong all the way through your dream. I moved the partitions away, got out, then spent time putting them back, but not like they were pushed back to the door, but out about 3 or 4 feet away from the door. And I was trying to put this one next to the other, making a space in front of the door with the partitions closing off that space in front of the door. I couldn't get them to line up right and got tired of trying. So I told the stinker from my last job if he wanted it covered right to figure it out himself. And then you say, then I was still there on a phone call, laughing and enjoying myself. So that's quite a switch. You don't say how you suddenly went to laughing and enjoying yourself. Like, where was the release in the dream that made you feel good? Was it telling the person off? And there's nothing wrong with doing that in a dream. If you've got big issues with dad and you shoot a man in the dream or push a man down the stairs or kill him, that's absolutely fine. It's a dream. It's about you overcoming the obstacles and blocks. But you do already, because you come out and you get out past the block that this man put there. But look at the traits of this person. That's what you need to work on. And telling him off is actually a good thing in the dream. But he's looking at you trying to put this stuff back. So I would question whether that's one of the things dad used to do, is watch you do something, even though it was doing something that was going to block you or mess you up in some way. Not nice at all. But yeah, so you're right in your analysis. So well done. And I will say about the minimalistic office, it's saying get out of your head as much as possible, follow your heart. Now that's female energy stuff, so you can't do that when working with that. All right, let's squeeze another one in real quickly. This one is from Ali, and she says, dead woman rising from the sea. So I wonder if Ali is short for alibi, and that's a pseudonym, of course. I was with a woman in a place with a lot of people. No one was wearing masks, as in for COVID. It seemed like an open terrace on the top of a building. Okay, so this whole COVID thing, you use it a few times in the dream, and it's about keeping distance from other people. That's your excuse in the dream. It's COVID, but you like to keep people at a distance. The woman I was with went off to kill another woman. So you don't like emotional expression. You don't like your female side. Or very likely you got subjected to some sort of trauma from a woman in your life, and this dream is actually a release for that. And you'll see why. Next thing I see, as if it was from a far distance, so again, you like to remain distant, is the body falling from a very high cliff straight into the sea. I was her accomplice in crime, and we were sure nobody will know, and got out of there. Then we were entering some sort of bar in a foreign country. So a bar is about suppressing feelings and emotions. With a weird distribution of tables because of social distancing. So again, you like to keep distance. We sat at the far counter next to a big window. I'm speeding up because I'm looking at the time, overlooking the sea. So you're a psychic. You have this same connection as our last dreamer, Jeff. The waiter offers us something very peculiar to eat and warns us on how different it is because of where we are in a foreign place. So you're a healer. So Jeff, you are, but you didn't get it from your dream. Ali is, because a waiter serves food or drink in this dream. But you're not quite sure it's for you because it's Ali, because it's the way the waiter introduces it. Then the dead woman rises from the water, walking towards us. The woman I was with says, that can't be possible. I'm sure I ended her life completely. She describes what she did and so on, so that no one will find her and no one would know who killed her. Then the dead woman passes, walking through the water right next to us outside the window. Her look was super serious and angry. It gave me the creeps and I woke up. Okay, so you don't say anything about ever having killed anybody in your life, so I hope you didn't. But this is about trying to put to bed or kill off this heavy negative influence from a woman in your life. I don't think it's mom. I think it's someone else. And that's what you're trying to do in this dream, but you're not successful. It brings up anger and other things. But you are a healer. Gotta go. See you all next week. Take care.